Welcome back to episode 61. It is the return of the king. No, not Mark Morrison.
Return of the Jedi?
No, not Star Wars, Thomas. It's the return of the king.
King who?
Elvis.
Oh, King Canatronics.
King Canatronics. The king is back.
So no more of this crappy, rubbish equipment that doesn't work. We have now got a reliable source of a contact timer.
Listen up, we're about to dig deep into the contactor timer world of Canatronics.
Stay tuned, listeners.
Well, the king is well and truly back. King Canatronics, the renegade.
Yeah.
He's back.
Back with a vengeance.
Definitely. You've been a long time fan of Canatronics. We were showing off the old white aluminium Canatronics that you've had for many years. How old is that one?
Well, first of all, Canatronics, for any listeners who don't know what we're talking about, Canatronics is a company that produce and have reproduced in the past a very good and reliable series of contact timers, ranging from 4-way up to 8-way. Also, they had some ballast lighting as well. When they were around many, many moons ago, this is a company that is a heritage company.
Yeah.
For myself anyway. I know 10, 12 years ago, this company was leading with these contact timers. I think everybody who was using a contact timer at that time will have been using a Canatronics.
Yeah.
However, Canatronics timers disappeared off the planet. And then we had a problem. Not straight away, because obviously everyone still had Canatronics, but things happen over years and over time. They get left behind, they get broken, changed.
Manufacturing processes are different.
So eventually you'd end up having to buy a new contact timer or whatever. But unfortunately, Canatronics was nowhere to be seen.
Would it be fair to say that they'd gone into retirement? They'd been in the industry for a long time.
Well, at that time, I didn't really know what was going on. I just knew Canatronics was unavailable. It was discontinued stock. The only way you was getting one if there was a shop in the UK who still had surplus stock and you could get in contact with them. And that's what we were doing for a while. Until eventually we had to bite the bullet and realise that Canatronics had ceased to trade.
Yeah.
Then that left a gap in the market for a lot of innovators and imitators, shall we say.
Yeah.
So we had a series of different versions of contact timers and all of this stuff, and none of them seemed to cut the mustard, to be honest with you.
They will all work to a point. Now, the biggest problem that I've found is that the 8-ways do not run 8 magnetic ballasts.
Yeah.
Because of the surge that 8 magnetic ballasts would pull from the wall, it's just been blowing the fuses, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So you might have been lucky and you've been getting away with it for a while, putting your 8 lights, but more often than not, you'll find that one side of the 8-way will just completely fail on you, and then you've ended up having a 4-way which still works. So I struggled to understand why they were being sold as 8-ways. I could never ever get my head around it.
Well, basically, it's a touchy subject for some people because, like, everyone's got an opinion on it, but the fact remains, when you look on the box, the contact timer box, it always has a wattage telling you how much watts you can plug into that box. And what you'd find on an 8-way, it would say 4,200 watts.
Yeah.
So you do your maths. You don't just look at the plugs and go, well, it's got 8 plug sockets, I can just plug 8 of anything in there, because that's what everybody does. Let's plug 8 electric tractors in there and see what happens. No, basically, you have a 600 watt light, so you need to start adding up wattage. So if you have 8 lights at 600 watts per light, so let me get my fingers and toes out a second, that comes to 4,800 watts. Now, these, shall I say, quote, 8-way contactors only take 4,200, which at full maximum load is the equivalent to 7 lights.
Yeah.
So, straight away we've got an issue there. But if you had 8 400 watt lights.
That would work.
What's 8 times 400?
It is 3,200 watts.
I hope.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of it. You're supposed to, as a consumer, look at the wattage rating on it and go, okay, that's my maximum load to this. It's got 8 sockets in it, which I could put 8 250s or 2 400s or 600 and a couple of 250s or whatever to get it to the 4,200. But we have a problem. We have customers who look at the 8 plugs and think that means 8 600 watt lights. Let's put them all in. Bish, bosh, bang. When they come on, the power surge from all the ballast, the power surge meaning that thumping noise when they come on, boom. Once that hits the box and it's over the power rating, bang, blows it straight away.
But to be fair, the customers, it's not
their fault neither.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
I was getting to that bit because these timers are marketed as an 8-way timer.
Yeah.
So
and the biggest selling bulb in the UK is a 600 watt bulb.
Yeah. And the only people who really know this information is the likes of ourselves. So it puts us in a predicament, doesn't it, constantly as a shop owner, worker or whatever, or just being in a shop, saving a customer, it puts you in a predicament. Say, hey boys, have you got an 8-way timer?
Yeah, let's reenact the predicament. I'll be the customer and you be the shop owner.
Okay.
So I've come in.
Hello buddy, how are you? Happy to help you today. We're always really keen at NPK, by the way.
I'm very good. I need an 8-way, please. I've got 8 lights. I need a contactor to bring them on and off.
Brilliant. What wattage are your lights, pal?
600 watts. We've got 8 600 watt lights.
Okay. You do realise that the timer I am going to have to offer up to you is a 12-way timer.
I've only got 8 lights. Why do you want to give me a 12-way?
Because the standard, what you probably presume to be an 8-way timer, won't hold the capacity of 8 600 watts. Yeah. So what I recommend to you, we've got them on a price deduction as well, that I will supply you with a 12-way timer, which you can easily put up to 10 lights, because you'd always want to leave a couple of spaces clear. You don't want to try and get everything maximum loaded, because, you know, you're running it on the maximum of its pressure, and at the end of the day, we're talking about high voltage here.
Okay. So, how much is the extra 12-way? How much extra is it?
£100.
And how much is the 8-way? A bit cheaper, isn't it?
It's £120.
And so the 8-way is 120, and the 12-way, did you say 150?
Yeah.
But I can go to the other shop, and I've had an 8-way in the past, and it's been all right. Like, yeah, one of my lights did go, but it done me all right for 6 months. So, I can just buy an 8-way from the other shop. It's cheaper. It seems like you're trying to sell me a 12-way to make more money.
Okay, sounds good point. However, you only bought your last time 6 months ago, didn't you? Yeah. You won't be buying this one in 6 months' time, because firstly, I'll give you a guarantee, because I'll know I've sold you it with the right recommendation for wattage in this piece of equipment, and I'll have also educated you on how to use your equipment correctly, and I'll also tell you that the way you was using your previous product that you bought from the other shop, which actually knows no information at all and hasn't helped you out, and they're the ones that's robbed you, because they sold you a product and it's only lasted 6 months, and the reason why that's only lasted 6 months is because they haven't educated you about what that product actually does.
Yeah, come to think of it, they didn't give me any sort of guarantee.
So what you could do is, you can go back to that shop every 6 months and buy a contactor. Are you planning to do this for a long time?
Yeah.
How long? Couple of years?
Well, I just want to feed me family.
Okay, well listen, I'm going to sell you my contactor with a guarantee, and I guarantee that you won't have any issues with it. However, if you would like to buy a contactor timer every 6 months, feel free to go back to the other shop who aren't prepared to give you any information or product knowledge. And every 6 months you can renew your contactor. Yeah, that's up to yourself.
Well, can you get me the 12-way? Can I have a quick look at it, please?
Yeah, sure, of course you can.
Okay. Yeah, it looks very nice. It's well made. Looks very good. But, it's got 4 sockets on it. I've only got in one part of my room, I've only got 2 sockets that I can fit in. Should they get an extension lead and plug the other 2 in? Because there's only got 2 sockets and I can't fit me 4 plugs in. What do I do there?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to use trail end extension leads that are recommended for that power rating. You're not going to go to the B&Q and buy one of these coil lead extension leads.
Yeah.
Because then you're looking for a fire as well.
Okay.
And you're going to make sure this piece of equipment is connected and fitted in accordance with the full power ratings.
Okay.
Exactly. And all of the extension leads that you supply and use to power up this piece of equipment is used in accordance with the power rating required.
Thank you very much for your help. Just seems like an awful lot of messing around. I just wish there was an 8-way on the market that actually controlled me 8 lights.
Well, he is, just soon.
Coming out soon. And what was that product?
Canatronics.
So we've come full circle.
Full circle.
Okay, let's jump out that little role play now. You can see the issues that we have in the shop.
Yeah.
You sell them an 8-way. They think that you're trying to get more money off them when you increase it to a 12-way so that they can actually handle it.
But then it has other issues because it requires more power.
Yeah.
More power sockets, which it requires 4 sockets at one point, which is not ideal.
Yeah. You might have them in your house, but it's not likely really
to be together. So then you are going to be running extensions to power up this system and stuff. So ideally you do want it in all quite nice and simple without any extra issues. Now, we've been working with Canatronics very closely. He's a good pal of mine. New product back out. He's back in business. We are lucky enough to be able to stock this product.
And we are very proud as well that this is going to be the only contactor that we'll be selling.
Yeah, we are very, we are very proud to be stocking Canatronics because it's a product that I've known all of my grow life. It's a product that I feel very safe using.
Yeah, that's an important word, safety.
Yeah.
That's paramount.
That's the key. The whole point of this rant and rave today, people, it is safety, because you heard me talk about on one of the other podcasts about the single plug and grow timers and how people were badly using them. They are a good piece of equipment. However, yet again, they have to be informed how to use it, what's it used for, the power rating and so on and so forth. So that's basically what we're talking about, and how to safely use these products.
Yeah.
And also explain to you in how that can be done.
Now, on the issue of safety, I'd say one of the most important piece of hardware in the room is the contactor, as well as safety, which it should be the first point in your mind when you're setting up something, is if you buy a cheap contactor, or even, it doesn't have to be cheap, some of these contactors can be expensive and they're still not working.
And they're just bad copies.
Yeah. If you've put your plants into a flowering phase of its life and you're 4 or 5 weeks in, and the contactor suddenly, well, what can sometimes happen is that the contactor won't fully break, the timer might break, so that your lights are left on for 24 hours a day.
Or left off,
and that presents a real problem to the yield and to the overall harvest.
That's the most common thing when we're saying the problems with these cheap imitation contact timers, is that when they do blow, they just stop working, the timer stops working, and they just basically ruin your whole grow cycle or flowering cycle or whatever it may be.
So that extra £20-30 that you didn't want to spend because you thought you could get away with one of the cheaper contactors has actually just cost you a lot. But
you also made a valuable point there as well, because we have some customers who's just constantly looking for the cheap option, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of cheap options, as we talked about, in Imitate and Innovate and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of cheap options that are dangerous, and they're the ones that we're concerned about. Yeah. So you can have cheap versions of pots. You can have a pot that's £10 with all fancy bows around it and whatever, and you can have a pot for £1, same size. That doesn't really mean any much difference. That doesn't bother me. Yeah. If you want a pot that looks fancy and want to pay dearer for it, that's up to you. That's personal preference. It isn't going to make any difference. It's not right or wrong. However, if you're going to risk your life and anybody else's life around you by putting in a cheap timer that's going to either go on fire or break or set other things up alight or get too hot or whatever, that's bad. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, instill some safety initiative.
And if there was one area to be safe in, if you said to me, okay, I only want to listen to one point you've got to say today. Just tell me one thing you want me to be safe with in the grow room, and it's going to be this. It's going to be a contact timer, because it's where you're putting all of this power to. It's electricity. It's highly dangerous. It can kill you. It's killed many of people. You don't even need me to say this. Do you know what I mean? So it just beyond me when people are coming in and say, "Oh, I just want this cheap one timer," and then I find out they're plugging an 8-way B&Q extension lead into it so they can plug 8 lights into it. I'm thinking, oh my God, what are they doing? But we're also doing this as well because Steve, as I said, brought up a brilliant point. There's a lot of customers out there who are still spending good money, spending £120 on a contact timer. However, it's one of these cheap ones, which is not the customer's fault. It's down to the shop owner, shopkeeper. Basically, they want to fill their gap in the market because it's really hard to get a good contact timer.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to slate every shop neither, because there's not many good ones on the market. Thank God Canatronics has come back, because the amount on there in the market that are crap, and the reason why they're crap is because the idea of them works. However, they've replaced all of I've checked these things, by the way. I've opened all of your boxes in, and you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name yous and shame yous today. I can't be bothered. But yous all know who I'm talking about, and I'm talking about every single one of yous. I've opened all of your boxes open, even the ones who were welded shut. I've had them opened up as well.
The current best on the market you used in the tobacco factory.
Yeah.
And you had a small problem with it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you got the electrician.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, that was Davin, right? So basically, the tobacco factory, I had Lumitech 400 volt.
Yeah, these were digital ballasts as well.
Digital ballasts.
Top of the range digital ballasts.
Buggers off, comes back the next day to find out the lights had been off. The time has blown. Whilst I was working on this, I had a number of highly skilled people dedicated to me. I had an electrician, electrical engineers, builders, everybody. So if I needed a water main moving from one side of the room to the other every other day, that could be done for me.
We had somebody drill through some, what was it, diamond...
Concrete. How I actually had a guy drill through 4 foot of concrete. Yeah. So we could put the pipe in through the floor. Yeah.
Oh, he was made up with you.
Oh, yeah, he was over the moon with that. Well, anyway, so basically you're getting the idea. We had a very qualified electrician. I comes in to find the electrician has rewired the whole timer, and he turns around to me and says, "Do you know what was up with that timer?" I said, "No." He said, I'd actually got it brand new out the box. He said it was wired up the wrong way round. So basically what he had to do was take all the wires out inside it and swap them over to the other side.
It's madness.
2 months later, a lot of them products got recalled because they were found to be wired up the wrong way.
Yeah. Would say at the end of all that, Davin,
have resolved the issue.
The issue.
They did. They recalled all the products. They've resolved the issue,
and 99% of the products are very good.
Yeah.
They still struggle with the 8-way. There's not one contactor on this market today, apart from Canatronics, that could hold their hands up, and say, our contactor will control 8 600-watt magnetic ballasts.
There's none.
There isn't one.
No.
And we are putting ourselves out there. You can call us up and say, "Oh, well, ours can do the same, ours can do it." You can't. But call us up and have the arguments, because we like a bit of a debate.
Now, hold on, just let me, because I veered off the point. So as I was saying, Steve's point again. So these customers out there spending good money, going into a shop and buying a contact timer that looks very nice. However, be careful, because what you'll find is they've got cheap components inside.
Yeah.
So one bit of advice I'm going to give you is Canatronics all the way.
Yeah.
If you're not in our area and you can't buy Canatronics from us, we'll ship you one out via the internet, not a problem.
Canatronics will be on the internet by the end of today, Rick.
Yeah.
So they will be on there. By the time you're listening to this podcast, all Canatronics will be on the website.
But there's also plenty of other retailers who stock this product as well. So if you guys anywhere in the world are listening to us and have a crappy contact timer and thinks you want to try out this product, just search Canatronics, and it's an amazing product.
Yeah. I'm going to digging a little bit deeper to the Canatronics, because we're also going to have a little chat, just a very brief chat, because I've noticed that our podcast is starting to breach the 1 hour mark in the last couple, so we're going to try and keep this one nice and snappy. The quality of the Canatronics, now I don't know what the quality is like on the inside. I'm going on past experience, and the fact that they work is that the insides are superb. What I do notice is the lovely solid steel metallic casing on the outside. Aesthetically, it is gorgeous. All the sockets are really well made, very strong. The wire is super thick. Like, I was shocked at how thick this rubber around the wire was.
You know what's special about Canatronics? Let's educate everybody. It's not a company that's just knocking these things out on a big conveyor belt with all cheap, crappy components. This is a company that's at the peak of electrical engineering.
Yeah.
If I'm right to say that.
The king, yeah.
Yeah. And what else? He's like the Steve Jobs of contact timers. Now, nobody else have really become any innovative. We haven't seen any innovation in contact timers, have we?
Not at all.
All we've had is imitation for the waste. For the waste.
Yeah.
For the waste,
Yeah.
to be honest. None of them have innovated for the better.
No one's improved upon what we had.
Not one person has come up with anything else. And the reason being for that is because they're incapable. Sorry, people, but you're incapable of doing that. Because so far we've only had the imitators. Now Canatronics is back with a vengeance. Oh, let me tell you. And I'm going to tell you now, this company's brought out a contact timer that's just went to the next level now.
Are we going to talk about it, or are we going to leave it as a surprise?
No, let's talk about it.
We're going to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's a super product as well, isn't it?
Okay, so...
Problem.
Yeah.
I've had my light bulb for 6 months.
6 months.
And I don't know when to change it, because some of my light bulbs I've had for 18 months, and I've got one there that's 12 months old, and I don't know which ones to change. Is the 6 month one okay? And should I change the 18 month? I just don't know. Because how do you tell if a bulb, when the bulb's at the end of its life? I'm not sure.
And that's where we come into play now, with the new Canatronics 8-way.
Yeah, special.
And the reason why it's special is because now it has a...
Ammeter.
Yeah,
is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Ammeter, yeah. Rick, nod your head if I'm right. Shrugged shoulders. It's an ammeter. I'm happy to for someone.
Well,
to
basically,
tell me
what this is like a little thing that's a little gauge on your contactor now. So if you start to get bulb fade, this alerts you.
Ammeter will rise as the bulb degrades in life. The amps that it draws increases. So as you see your digital clock rising, you're noticing that the bulbs are nearing the end of their life.
So basically, when you go into your room every time, you can just look at your ammeter, which is on your contactor, and you can go, ooh, looks, see if we've got a bit of rise in that there. Yeah. So maybe one of these bulbs is a bit worn. And then what you can do is you can switch off each socket on your timer with the
separate plugs on each socket.
Yeah. And then you can basically switch one light on, and you can look at the ammeter, if that's right what we're saying. And if that's still on the same level, that bulb's not affected. And you can go through the 8 bulbs, eventually hitting the bulb that's faded, and then simply take out the bulb and replace it. Perfect.
So there's the situation where you bought 4 bulbs a year ago, and you used them a couple of times, you took them out and had a break, and then you used them again a couple of times, but you've used them at different... One time you only used 2 bulbs, and you put them all back in the packaging for safekeeping. You come back, and you think, right, I think I'm going to do some super hot chilies this year. And you get your bulbs out, and you go, which ones are which? I can't remember which ones I've only used twice and which ones I've used a good few times. Now we know.
Yeah, and you can just go through that simple check, plug one bulb in, check the reading on the contact timer, and go from there.
It's a super product. I was really happy when we were showing it yesterday.
To be honest, it would have been great to feature that on Imitate or Innovate, but we didn't know about it. We've only just found out yesterday.
And that one wasn't on my fucking crystal ball last week.
No,
we didn't see that one coming.
We definitely didn't see that one coming.
There's a new one, and we're only into the beginning. Oh, nice big stretch there. We're only into the first quarter of 2016. We've already had a really super product come out, and I think it's going to be a big contender for the end of 2016.
Yeah.
When we talk about the best products of 2016. I think it's going to be up there already.
Also, not only that, it's double heaters, switches.
Yeah, because one heater just doesn't cut the mustard.
No.
He's
We've
got
also got the two-way for the small grow rooms, which is really good because now I can help everybody educate how to get off these plug and grow things, basically.
Yeah. Or any single time.
Yeah, for lighting, basically. Because plug and grow timers are very good. I do like them, but for the adequate power rating.
Yeah.
So...
I wanted to talk about a little bit more about the build of the Canatronics. The last thing that I wanted to say is that he nearly broke our bloody desk yesterday because he pulls out the socket that you're going to plug into the wall and goes, "Look how hard this one is," and starts whacking it on the table.
Yeah.
He bloody smashed the table now.
Yeah.
Took the plug and not a single graze was on the plug because he's gone for durable, really good quality, heavy plastic on the plugs. You just need to see one to believe on. We're going to stop chatting on about how good these are because just get one in your hands.
Plus, what I also know about this company as well is if I've got any problems, if, say, for instance, a customer comes back to me and goes, "See, this bloody timer, I want to smash it over the head with it because it doesn't work, it hasn't come on." And then I'm trying to ask this customer, have you got the right power rating going? What have you been doing? What have you been up to? And they tell me everything's fine and he's done it perfect and he's done nothing wrong. And then I try and send it off for analysis to the company and it waits 3 weeks and they don't really know what they're talking about. You
just get sent a new one.
Yeah, just get sent a new one and that doesn't really get us anywhere. However, with this product, if one was to come back, I know they would be collecting it within 24 hours. And I'd probably have it back within 48 hours with a full diagnosis, written diagnosis of what was going on with that product, whether it was consumer error, which will be the highly likeliness of it.
Because all these products, bear in mind, are absolutely hand-built from scratch. And every single one of these products is checked by the man who does all the checking. So you can be pretty much guaranteed that it's the consumer's fault if anything's gone wrong. But we are all humans. We do make mistakes.
Things do go wrong sometimes.
So when that does happen, we've got a very good answer to why that's happened. And then eventually, over the years, those very small little errors will be rectified. And probably in a couple of years' time, you will have an absolutely bomb-proof, top-notch, 100%... I can't think of any more superlatives to describe it. Just a really good contactor.
I think that's all we can say for it, to be honest. I think we've droned on enough about it.
Yeah. Have you got the point?
Yeah, Canatronics, best contact timer.
And I thought of something that I thought was quite funny. I just wanted to go, ha! That's H-A. Ha! Hydroponics Advancement. That's what that stands for. Ha! That's what I want to see in our industry. Innovation or imitation last week. I want to see hydroponic advancement. Ha! Do you like that?
That's very good.
So I think we're going to finish it there, aren't we, Thomas?
Yeah, I think we have...
a nice light one for this one.
Yeah, well, if everybody's still awake anyway, because we've just droned on a bit there about contact timer and Canatronics being the best. So we're just going to leave it there for now.
Check out the website,
yeah,
npktechnology.co.uk.
Watch out, because we've got the Barcelona Grow Show coming up in the next...
We'll be talking about that next week, won't we?
3 weeks, yeah. We're talking about it next week, are we?
Yeah.
The show comes up on the 11th till the 13th of March. It's in Barcelona, Spain. We're going to have big interviews getting out there. So watch out. We've got special guests live from the Grow Show. We'll have some giveaways, some more competitions. So make sure you're ready for the Barcelona Grow Show.
I want to give away something, Thomas.
Ooh, this is going to cost me.
Yeah. I would like to give away a 4-way Canatronics contactor.
Okay.
To the person that can answer this question. It's not going to be an easy question.
Good stuff.
Which way do electrons flow?
Oh, electrons.
Answer me that question.
Which way do up?
No.
Down?
No.
Left?
No.
Right?
No. So get your thinking caps on. Tell me which way an electron flows.
Forward,
No.
backwards,
No.
diagonally.
No.
Give in.
Okay, you're not winning the contest
All right.
anyway. And to give you a helping hand, it was actually none of them answers. So if now you're really struggling, start Googling. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.